Have you ever been in such a situation? As soon as the physical examination report came out, the doctor frowned, took a red pen, and drew a circle on your cholesterol and triglycerides columns, and said, "Your blood lipids are a little high, you should pay attention to your diet." You nodded, and when you went home, you didn't dare to eat meat, and when you saw oil, you were afraid, and even the rice was not fragrant.
Lipids. Some people say apple cider vinegar, some people recommend red yeast rice capsules, and some people say only vegetables, boiled eggs, and whole wheat bread. You tried a bunch of them, and 3 months later, the arrow on the report is still red, and the value is still rising. You begin to wonder if your body is naturally like this when you are old, or is it that lowering blood lipids is not saved at all and can only be maintained by drugs? But I'm going to tell you a key truth. Hyperlipidemia isn't just about eating too much oil and too fat. The real problem is that you're eating the wrong things and missing out on the natural regulators that can help you fundamentally improve your blood lipids. They may actually be in your fridge, right on the supermarket shelves you pass by every day.
I don't say this to scare you, but because I've seen too many ordinary people like you who have been trying to eat lightly and control their diet. But as a result, their bodies are still getting heavier and heavier. They are easy to wheezing when they walk. Their brains are slow, and they even start to sleep poorly. And their blood pressure is high. You may not know it, but in fact, these problems are often closely related to poor blood lipid control.
Squeezed by grease for a long time, which will not only affect the blood supply to the heart, but also the thinking clarity of the brain, the peristalsis efficiency of the stomach and intestines, and the quality of sleep will be implicated together. And this rise in blood lipids does not necessarily need to happen every day. 1/3 of hyperlipidemia patients in the United States are normal weight, or even thin people, and their problem is not eating too much, but eating wrong. Like Linda, a retired nurse living in Ohio, who eats toast with peanut butter and coffee every morning, a box of low-fat yogurt with nuts for lunch, and a light dinner with little red meat. As a result, the physical examination found that the cholesterol was exceeded, and she was shocked. She said, "I am careful to eat healthy food every day. How can I still have high blood lipids?" The problem lies in this sentence, health food. Many of the foods we think are low-fat, high-fiber, plant-based, and not sweet, but they are actually hidden versions of blood lipid accelerators. So today we don't talk about myths, don't talk about the pseudoscience that can quickly clear blood by relying on a pill or a glass of juice, but tell you that there is really a scientific basis. After a lot of empirical research and verification *** 10 natural hypolipidemic foods ***, they are not only effective, but also most of them are cheap, easy to find, delicious, and most of them are most suitable for middle-aged and elderly people to eat a little every day and slowly adjust the rhythm of fat metabolism in the body. And you don't need to change your eating habits. You just need to change these foods into your original 3 meals. Like playing a puzzle, replace the original high-fat triggers with natural regulators, and your body will change unconsciously. I'm talking about real changes, not the vague, "it feels good," but when you go for a physical examination, the total number of cholesterol really drops, the LDL becomes normal, and the triglycerides drop from 200 plus to below 100, which is the result of even doctors nodding and praising it. And we'll present that information in a way that's easier to understand. It's not a dry list of nutrients, but a walk through how each food works, who it's suitable for, and how to eat it most effectively. Like, why are oats called lipid scavengers? Not because it's low in calories, but because the beta-glucan in it is a natural cholesterol adsorbent that acts like a sponge to help you suck excess fat out of your gut. For another example, many people have heard that green tea is good, but you know that what green tea is really good for blood lipids is not the clear taste, but the catechins in it, which can inhibit the oxidation of LDL cholesterol and reduce the deposition of plaque in the blood vessels. Another example is beans. Why is tofu more recommended than chicken breast? Because its plant-based lecithin structure is similar to human cholesterol, it can play a role in disrupting absorption, thereby reducing the chance of blood lipid deposition. What's more, these foods are not some kind of unreachable superfood, nor are they functional powders that can only be bought in Japanese supermarkets or some high-end health food stores. We're talking about the usual foods you can buy at Walmart, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, or even the convenience store next to your house, like a banana-sized kiwi fruit, a box of plain almonds, a bag of oats, a bottle of extra virgin olive oil, a packet of steamed beans, a slice of salmon, a cup of unsweetened green tea. It's that simple. It's that down to earth. We do not seek to eat once and see immediate results. We pursue affordable, habitual, and long-lasting, so that you can silently adjust your blood lipids back to normal values without changing the joy of life. Next, I will take you to understand the top 10 blood lipid-lowering golden foods in one go, including their efficacy principles, scientific research data, real-life matching suggestions, and common misunderstandings. Especially the last three types. Many people eat them every day, but never realize that they are the number one blood vessel protection. And some of them are invisible longevity foods that doctors themselves secretly recommend to patients. You will see Mr. Johnson, a 62-year-old retired postal worker, just changed his breakfast from sausage omelet to oats plus nuts plus kiwi fruit, added a small tofu stew for dinner, salmon twice a week, and a year later, his blood lipids returned to the green zone from the danger zone. You will also see Emily from Florida, 58 years old, who originally had a triglyceride explosion, followed the advice of a dietitian, added a cup of homemade green tea at noon every day, ate a few slices of avocado in the afternoon, and after 2 months, the indicators were so beautiful that the doctor couldn't believe it. So, don't say, "I'm old," or "I've eaten too long and can't change it." Your body is actually waiting for you to eat the right thing. High blood lipids are not fate, but a variable that can be pulled back little by diet. Next, let's officially enter the topic. Let me tell you in the clearest way, which 10 foods are the most effective, practical, and safe golden combination for lowering blood lipids. Are you ready? Let's get started. You may have begun to can't wait to know what these foods can really help us stabilize blood lipids and clear blood vessels, and how to eat them most effectively. Don't worry, I'll take you through it step by step now. Starting from the 10th ranking, let's first talk about green tea that many people ignore. You may think it's a refreshing drink, but in fact, the catechins in green tea are powerful antioxidants that help us reduce the oxidation of bad cholesterol, or LDL, in the blood vessels. You can think of it as rust in the blood vessels, and catechins are the natural tools that specifically remove this rust. Drinking 1 or 2 cups of unsweetened green tea every day, especially after meals, can help reduce the absorption of oil and avoid the accumulation of blood lipids in the blood vessels. Here's a tip. Don't brew too hot water. Warm water at 70 to 80 degrees will better retain the active ingredients in green tea. Next up is garlic, a very common seasoning in Chinese cuisine, which is actually also known as a natural lipid-lowering drug in the West. You may not know that raw garlic contains an ingredient called allicin, which has positive effects on blood lipids, blood pressure, and blood sugar. Studies have found that eating mashed garlic after 15 minutes of resting can effectively help lower total cholesterol and triglycerides. For example, a friend of mine in Florida, John, would swallow a small slice of raw garlic mixed with honey every morning before breakfast, which sounded a bit ruthless. But he said that in 2 months, his cholesterol dropped from 230 to 190, and the doctors asked him if he had changed his prescription medication. However, it should be noted that although garlic is good, it is not recommended to eat a large amount on an empty stomach. It is easy to irritate the gastric mucosa, and it is best to eat it in moderation with other foods. When it comes to vegetables, we have to mention a master of clear oil, that is, steamed eggplant. You may rarely associate eggplant with the word lipid lowering, but in fact, the nasolenin and water-soluble fiber in eggplant are very friendly to blood vessels. It's like a sponge that absorbs the invisible oil on the plate. However, the emphasis is on steaming, not frying or frying, because frying eggplant will almost become a carrier of oil, which is counterproductive. If you have an air fryer at home, it can be used to air fry with a little olive oil, which can also take into account the taste and health. When it comes to olive oil, we have to mention this golden fat. Many people think that oil is the enemy of lowering blood lipids, but in fact, the key is the type of oil. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fatty acids, which can help raise good cholesterol, HDL, while reducing bad cholesterol, LDL, and also contains a lot of antioxidant phenols, which can slow down the aging of blood vessels. You can use it in salads, tofu, dipping in whole wheat bread, or you can order a small spoonful on cooked dishes, but it is not recommended to stir-fry vegetables at high temperatures, otherwise the nutrition will be destroyed. Carol, a retired teacher who lives in Arizona, said that she always adds a small spoonful of olive oil to her salad at noon every day, and since eating it like this, she has become more energetic and her weight has stabilized. Don't miss out on avocados, which, like olive oil, are the same good fats as they are, and are also rich in potassium and soluble fiber, which can help stabilize blood pressure and remove excess sodium from the body. Eating half an avocado a day is enough to give the body the unsaturated fats it needs. You can spread it on whole wheat toast, beat it into guacamole, or slice it with a little pepper and lemon juice, and it goes with a poached egg for the perfect low-fat breakfast. Although avocado is high in oil, it does not damage blood vessels like animal fat, but can repair the inner wall of blood vessels and make blood flow smoother. By the way, it's also very filly, making it great for controlling food intake and blood sugar fluctuations. In fifth place is kiwi fruit, a seemingly ordinary fruit that is actually very rich in pectin and vitamin C, which not only antioxidant, but also helps the body remove excess fatty acids. In particular, pectin forms a gelatinous barrier in the gut that prevents cholesterol from being absorbed. I know an old man who works as a gardener in California, Robert, who used to have high triglycerides, insisted on a kiwi fruit every day, and after 3 months, his indicators improved significantly. The best way to eat it is to eat it with the skin. Of course, it should be cleaned, and the peel has a lot of plant fiber and enzymes, which is very helpful for intestinal metabolism. Plain nuts ranked fourth. The key is in the word plain, not processed nuts with sugar, salt, caramel, or spices. Nuts like almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and cashews are rich in plant sterols, which compete with cholesterol in the absorption pathway and help us reduce bad cholesterol intake. A small handful, about 28 grams, per day is sufficient, and it is best to mix them in a variety of ways to make them more nutritionally balanced. But you must control the amount. Too much will still consume too much fat, which is counterproductive. You can sprinkle a little oatmeal on top of breakfast or eat it as an afternoon snack, which is much healthier than eating chips and cookies. The third place is legumes, especially soy products such as soybeans, black beans, and chickpeas. Lecithin, a high-fiber, low-fat source of plant protein in legumes, is a natural emulsifier that helps to emulsify the oils in the blood so they don't deposit in the blood vessels. A friend of mine who works as an engineer in Texas switched to soy milk with boiled eggs for breakfast and often ate tofu stew or edamame salad for Chinese food, and his blood lipids and blood pressure both decreased in half a year, and his mental state improved greatly. Beans can also help satiety and control blood sugar fluctuations, and are a superfood for people with high blood lipids, high blood pressure, and diabetes to improve their diet. The next place is followed by deep-sea fish, such as salmon, mackerel, sory, and sardines. They are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which can help lower triglycerides, prevent blood clots, and reduce inflammation of blood vessels. It is recommended to eat deep-sea fish at least twice a week, preferably steamed or grilled, and avoid frying at high temperatures. For example, I will bake salmon in tin foil with vegetables in the oven for 20 minutes every week, which is refreshing and nutritious for one meal, and the whole person is in a lighter state the next day. In the end, the one who sits firmly on the first place is oats. It is a lipid scavenger recommended by almost all cardiovascular specialists. Oats are rich in beta-glucan, a soluble dietary fiber that forms a gelatinous substance in the intestines that acts like a vacuum cleaner to carry cholesterol away. Eating 30 to 50 grams of oats a day with milk, nuts, fruit, or yogurt not only lowers cholesterol, but also helps with bowel movements, weight control, and blood sugar. You can choose plain ready-to-eat oats or coarse-grained steel-cut oats, both of which work well. The key is to eat consistently. 2 meals a day is best. You don't need too much each time, but over time, you can see amazing improvements. These foods are not for you to eat all of them in a week, nor are you only able to eat these, but I hope that you will consciously add 1 or 2 of them to your daily dinner plate, and before you know it, your body will become more and more light, and your blood lipid index will move closer to normal little by little. Health is not about extreme control, it's about making the right choice. Now that you know which foods work best, it's up to you to get started. Let's talk about how, when, and how much to eat, so that we can really make a difference. Continue to read, and you will find that lowering blood lipids is actually not that difficult. So you see, lowering blood lipids has never been a difficult thing that can only be accomplished by drugs, and it is not the magic method of 1 cup to clear blood and 3 days to achieve results, as mentioned in those advertisements. But it really depends on what you eat every day, bit by bit to accumulate changes. Like the 10 foods you just saw, none of them are weird, none of them require you to spend a fortune on supplements, and none of them have to be in the kitchen to eat them. These foods, from oats and deep-sea fish to beans, kiwi fruit, olive oil, and green tea, are readily available at almost all supermarkets near your home, and most of them are delicious, convenient, and easy to go with. If you're willing to add a little bit to your 3 meals a day, such as a bowl of hot oats with plain nuts for breakfast, a little boiled beans or avocado to your lunch salad, and a piece of grilled salmon for dinner, with a cup of unsweetened green tea, you don't need to starve, quit, or act like you're on a nutrition plan, and your body will tell you, "I'm recovering," within a few weeks. I know some people may be worried. Is it too late to eat these when they are older? The answer is yes. A friend of mine, at the age of 65, began to seriously improve his eating habits. Originally, blood lipids were always high, and after taking medicine for several years, it was only barely controlled. And then he changed his breakfast from fried eggs to oat milk, ate a small handful of plain nuts every night, and ate deep-sea fish twice a week. I used to think that I had to rely on drugs to get it down, but it turned out that I used to eat too much, he said. You can also be like him. Start to make a small change from today. You don't need to do it in one step. As long as you consciously add a little right food every day, slowly, you will find that not only the blood lipids have improved, but also the whole person's state, sleep, physical strength, and mood have improved. Another important point is that lowering blood lipids does not depend on eating less, the better, but eating right. As soon as many people hear about high cholesterol and high triglycerides, they begin to stop eating oil, eggs, and meat at all, resulting in nutritional imbalances in the body, decreased immunity, blood sugar fluctuations, and worse energy. In fact, what you need is not dieting, but eating smart. Replacing bad oils with good oils, replacing processed foods with whole foods, and replacing simple carbs with low GI, high-fiber foods are the real ways to stabilize your blood lipids without sacrificing your appetite and quality of life. Healthy eating is never about punishing yourself. It's about making your life easier, living more securely, and aging slower. If you feel that today's content inspires you, please don't absorb it silently alone, and also forward this knowledge to your relatives and friends, especially those who are already taking lipid-lowering drugs, but have never thought that the table can also cure diseases. Tell them that change doesn't depend on who cares about what you eat, but that you start making your own choices. You can start with the next meal, starting with a cup of green tea, a bowl of tofu soup, or a piece of steamed eggplant, to let your body know that you're ready to help it take the burden off. One last thing to remember, every bite of food you eat today is laying the foundation for tomorrow's body. Instead of worrying about blood lipid indicators, it is better to eat the right food with peace of mind. You already know how to eat it, and the rest